Sizable turnout for the Congress party's Mehngai Par Halla Bol rally in Delhi. At Ramlila Maidan, supporters hold "We Want Rahul" as party president placards. Ghulam Nabi Azad starts a new political innings, holds a rally in Jammu, still to announce his new party name. Former Tata Group chairman Cyrus Mistry dies in a road accident. The accident occurs near Mumbai. Ahead of her India visit, Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina calls India a tested friend, says India should play a major role in resolving the Rohingya issue and seeks more generosity from India on the Teesta water sharing. India faces off Pakistan in the Asia Cup. Pakistan wins toss, puts India to bat first. KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma give India a brisk start. Hello there, you're watching Left, Right and Centre on NDTV. I'm Maha Siddiqui. The top stories that we are tracking. Rahul Gandhi is said to undertake a Bharat Jodo Yatra from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. This as the attrition from the party continues. Can a divided Congress unite India? And shocking news, former chairman of Tata Sons Cyrus Mistry dies in a car accident. First up, Rahul Gandhi addressed an impressive gathering of people at Delhi's Ramlila Maidan today with a war cry against the Modi government. He said that, in fact, a united opposition has the ability to defeat the BJP and the RSS. But this as senior party veteran Ghulam Nabi Azad, who recently severed ties with the Congress, held his own massive rally in Jammu. He hit out at his former party again and said that he was set to launch his own political outfit. Azad has virtually been able to take all Congress members of the Jammu and Kashmir unit with him. This raises a serious question, not just about the Congress's fate in Jammu and Kashmir, but also whether the Congress, which itself is a divided house, can unite India as it aims to do with its Bharat Jodo rally. Let me go across to our guests who are joining us on the show. Adil Singh Boparai is joining us. He's the spokesperson of the Congress party, and PKD Nambiar, political analyst somebody who supports the BJP as well. We'll shortly be joined by Salman Nizami, former leader of the Congress, now with Ghulam Nabi Azad, and T.S. Singhdeo, Cabinet Minister, Chhattisgarh government. Coming first to you, Adil, at a time when the Congress should have presented a united front itself before looking at uniting an opposition to take on the Modi government, it's a divided house. Do you think at this stage, can the Congress party really unite the country that it aims to do with its Bharat Jodo rally?
Well, Maha, I beg to disagree with you. And I think the topic of your debate is a misnomer. The Congress is not a divided house. The Congress is a united house. And the Congress is the only political formation in this country who is opposed to the BJP tooth and nail, and who can ensure that the BJP's hegemony and the BJP's mentality of imposing its authoritarian rule can come to an end. There is no other political formation. And we are the natural party. We hold the DNA of this country when it comes to matters of governance and when it comes to matters of upholding the idea of India. So therefore, I disagree. As far as Mr. Azad and the others are concerned, it is the party which makes an individual, Maha. It is the party, it is not vice versa. I'm on your program today because I'm the spokesperson of this party. You're a household name in the news industry because you are with the NDTV. If tomorrow somebody starts hallucinating and thinks that he's bigger than the party, then it's plain delusion.
But Adil, wouldn't you say that individuals are important for the party as well? At the end of the day, Ghulam Nabi Azad has been able to dent the party in Jammu and Kashmir. He's taken a sizable chunk of the party unit with him.
Well, Maha, please understand this. What are the challenges facing this country today? The challenges facing this country today are social division. The challenge is economic inequality. The challenge is unemployment and price rise. Now, if you have former colleagues or former members of the Congress party who are tacitly weakening the party with their mischief, either voluntarily or at the behest of somebody else, it is for them to explain. It is they who are doing a disservice to the foundations of this country.
All right. So
and as far as Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad is concerned, let me assure you, I think the media is giving him more importance than what one must. I mean, he's getting more publicity than, to be very fair, than he deserves. If you
all right, you're also pointing fingers at another party. So let me take a response from PKD Nambiar. You know, many in the Congress, and you just heard Adil there saying, are sometimes accuse the BJP of playing these games. We saw the tweet from Jairam Ramesh as well after Ghulam Nabi Azad quit. Is really PKD Nambiar all fair in love, war and politics?
Well, I can say that the brave face of Adil, and I know that it is how challenging it is to be a Congress spokesperson today, or in these toughest time of Congress. But I think the Congress needs to look within themselves. Let's not divert the issue that you criticizing BJP is not going to solve the problem of an internal party of Congress. I think Congress should talk on Congress, the spokespersons and the Congress leaders should start talking about only and only Congress. Unless, and I am of the opinion that we need to have a strong opposition party, and Congress may be a natural opposition. Unfortunately, the people within the Congress leadership is decided in themselves that they wanted to sink the ship, whatever method they may use. Now coming to the second part of it. Why do the people leave one after another from a political party, or for that matter an organization? It's only when they don't have an aspirational leadership, when they feel that this is not the right place for them to be to make a career for themselves, or this is not the place for them in politics, that where they will not be able to serve the society or the constituency which they are representing. So when there is no hope, people will start leaving.
But the Congress party often says, PKD Nambiar, that they are in politics and their party men are in politics for service, not as a political career, so to speak. I mean, maybe that has changed over a period of time. But T.S. Singhdev is also with us now. T.S. Singhdev, before this yatra that the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi will be undertaking, the Bharat Jodo Yatra, shouldn't the Congress be looking inwards at its own state of disarray?
Good evening, and good evening to all the panelists and the viewers. Isn't Bharat Jodo Yatra an inward-looking process in itself? It encompasses the nation, it encompasses all the states, it encompasses the people, and it also encompasses the Congress persons. They are not individuals apart from the country. So when you are wanting to link up people, get them together, join them together, Jodo, as the word itself says, it means Jodo everything and everybody. How will the Congress persons be out of that perspective? So it is a process that the of Congress coming together on all fronts.
First, make an effort to reach out to its own party members, especially the G23 as it's called. Some from the G23 have already left. Do you think it's time to reach out to them? Because they are putting out statements almost every second day, which makes it appear that they are questioning the party. They want, some sort of reforms within the party.
Congress has a background where Subhash Chandra ji stood up against a candidate of Mahatma Gandhi, we are told. So this is nothing new that is happening today. And that matter was resolved, a matter at the highest level at the time of the freedom struggle, where characters whom we revere on the highest pedestal today, they were not seeing eye to eye on issues, but that matter was resolved. So this group of 23, where does it compare to Subhash ji and Gandhi ji?
No, the point is
nowhere if you compare it to that.
The point is that if they are raising certain questions, shouldn't they be answered?
Why not? Why not? I mean, process in every party. Did not the BJP have expulsion of some of its leaders some time back? Have the other parties not gone through the same phase where people have been removed from the party? We have seen that in Orissa, we've seen that in Bihar, we've seen that in Uttar Pradesh, we've seen that in RJD, we've seen that in the Communist Party, we've seen that in the BJP. So how is the Congress the only party which is facing this situation?
Okay.
Sometimes I feel sad that this presentation is a misrepresentation.
Okay. PKD Nambiar, what T.S. Singhdev is saying that every party goes through a period of churn. This is a period of Congress's churn. Why should it constantly be questioned? The party is strong enough to resolve things by its own. Does it appear to be like that?
Of course, no. I will tell you that a party which do not have a full-time president for so many years, a party, a person who remotely commands the entire party, who is called as Rahul Gandhi, he is still saying that he don't want it to be the president, but he calls every shot in the party. A party wherein almost 50% of the DCCs, I would say district do not even have its presidents. A party which did not have gone through any kind of an electoral process of from booth level to the national level for so many decades. Now, how would you think that that party is going to remain relevant in politics? It is not going to be. Now, coming to even today, for an example, what Rahul Gandhi was talking about, they wanted to remove the BJP and RSS. RSS is 98-year-old organization in the country. Congress ruled this country almost close to 60 years. Could they do anything on it? BJP from grassroots 2 seats to today the ruling party, could they stop the BJP to gain what it is today? No. So I think the weak Congress is not in the interest of the country. I know that I have 2 very senior panelists from the Congress. I am for Congress to stay on. Even the Prime Minister said multiple times, but Congress is losing day by day. The ground is not the responsibility of any other party.
Okay.
I think
right.
Congress needs to do the Congress Jodo first. Bharat Jodo ke liye to bahut sara
let Adil Singh Boparai respond to that. He's raising his hand. Go ahead.
I would urge my friend Mr. Nambiar to enlighten me. What is the process of electing the BJP national president?
I can tell you.
When was the last time that there was any election in the RSS? So before you show us the mirror, please look inwards. Point number 1. Point number 2, what really matters? Let's separate the wheat from the chaff. What really matters to the common man today is that the price of an LPG cylinder has increased from 400 to 1,050. What really matters to a common man today is that the price of petrol has increased from 60 to rupees 100 per litre. What really matters to a common man today is that the price of diesel is increased from 55 to 90 rupees per litre. What really matters to the common man is that the price of flour or the price of atta has trebled over the past 3 years. What really matters to the common man today is
Adil,
that unemployment is at an all-time high. These are the issues which matter.
That's exactly why the country needs a strong opposition. And I think that point has been underlined. T.S. Singh Deo, would you say that a strong opposition will only come, as Rahul Gandhi says, if the opposition unites, they can defeat BJP and RSS. But there has to be a pan-India party, and Congress can play that role.
Congress is playing that role. Our vote share has dipped where national elections are concerned. The BJP was at 32, 35 or around that in the last elections, and the Congress was around 18-19%. So the vote share has dipped compared to the party in power, and the vote differential does not reflect in the number of seats. But that is the way our democracy has been framed, our constitution has been framed. So Congress has to make every attempt to see that the regional parties or the other parties who are fighting elections separately do not allow a party getting less than 40% to have more than 60% of the seats. Those are electoral strategies which the Congress will have to adopt. At the same time, strengthening its base of its vote share from 18 to 19%. To cross the 30% mark. So I think all this exercise that the Congress is doing has all these aspects in mind, playing the role currently of the opposition as a responsible opposition, and for the betterment of the country, taking its role as the leading party of the country.
But T.S. Singh Deo, if leaders as senior as Ghulam Nabi Azad quit the party and they talk about how the consultative mechanism within the party has been broken down over the years deliberately, how do you think it impacts the party, and especially ahead of a big Bharat Jodo Yatra? Do you think Ghulam Nabi Azad's exit from the party will cast its shadow over that yatra?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Ghulam Nabi Azad ji has been a very respected and a senior leader. But like I mentioned, does he have the stature of Subhash Chandra Bose? I don't think so. Subhash Chandra Bose ji also took another path. He went beyond the Congress and he adopted what he thought were better means for the freedom of the country. So there was a difference even there. Ghulam Nabi Azad ji does not occupy, with all respect to him, I have a lot of respect for all my seniors, him too, and in fact cross-party. I respect seniority, I respect positions people occupy of responsibility. So he will not be able to impact pan-India. We have seen his impact in Jammu and Kashmir. He has been a leader of that region. Is he going to have that impact in Rajasthan? Is he going to have that impact in Punjab? Is he going to have that impact in Himachal Pradesh?
Sir, I'm talking more about perception. PKD Nambiar, do you think the perception plays an important role in politics today?
Well, Maha, you know that my business is all about perception management and advertising and marketing, and perception is what makes all difference in anywhere in the world, whether it is a product or a political party or an organization, cultural organization, whether it is an individual. It's all about the perception, and the perception, what it consistently built is what finally gives the outcome. In the case of Congress, as a professional I am now talking about, it did not had even a single positive news in the last 8 to 10 years, not even one. How many times, how many people have been able to attract the new talent to the party, whether it is from another party or from naturally from this thing? Very, very, very few. Or the people who are coming in is rejected by the other party. Sir, with all due respect to Dio Saab, one thing I'll tell you, sir, you have been telling in this show twice at least that it's the Subhash Chandra Bose and the Mahatma Gandhi and the different. Sir, that Congress is not the Congress which both of you represent today. This Congress belongs to the Nehru Congress. This Congress belongs to the Indira Gandhi's Congress. This Congress belongs to the Sonia Gandhi's Congress. Please don't defame the people, the great freedom fighters. In fact, I belong to a family where we had so many of them. So I would only humbly request you that don't compare that old, the one who fought for our freedom and the today's Congress.
There. He is shaking his head. It's
a different Congress altogether.
And this Congress is 1995 onwards.
Sir, that Congress was
what Congress is? Congress is an ideology. Congress is a movement. Congress is a grouping of people throughout the country. People who share the interests of the country, the welfare of the nation, the welfare of its people. This goes way beyond individuals. I am very surprised if somebody feels that the Congress is limited to a few individuals.
It's a family, sir. It's a family, and
we all know that. Let me go across to Adil Singh Boparai on that point. 2 points. As T.S. Singh Deo said, this party is not about individuals. You also mentioned that. Secondly, about perception. Now, today at Ramlila Maidan, we saw placards, people holding placards suggesting Rahul Gandhi should be the president of the party. Here's a man, Adil Singh Boparai, who doesn't want to be the party president. He is reluctant. Why is this pressure building being done over Rahul Gandhi? Is it simply because he's from the Gandhi family?
Well, Maha, let me take my senior Mr. Deo's point further. Congress represents the soul of this country. Congress represents the idea of India. And today we are fighting an idea of India which was rejected by Mahatma Gandhi. An idea of India which was subscribed by the likes of Golwalkar and Godse. And this is the struggle of the Congress party, that we have to defeat these forces who want to take us away from our constitutional ideals. Point number 1. Point number 2, please understand that it is the electoral college of the Congress party, our workers, our cadre, which will decide who is best suited to lead the party. It has unfortunately become fashionable today in the media to berate the Congress party. But I would put this question to my friend Mr. Nambiar. Will berating the Congress party solve the problem of unemployment? Will berating the Congress party solve the problem of price rise? Will berating the Congress party get the Chinese out of Ladakh? The answer is a capital no. The BJP, and unfortunately some individuals owing their allegiance tacitly to the BJP, raise such issues to divert attention from the core issues, and the BJP has been very successful. I do agree with Mr. Nambiar to one extent that the BJP is an advertising model. The BJP is a party which has aced this practice of event management. The BJP has emasculated institutions. Unfortunately, there are, I would say, very notable and very few examples, even in the media, who are willing to raise the real issues facing this country. At prime time, 9 o'clock, I would have expected that the country really brainstormed on how we can come up with a policy in reducing price rise.
Yes, that is why, Anand Singh Boparai, you should appreciate the fact that media takes up the issue of the Congress party, because as I've underlined, a strong opposition is equally necessary for the country. That is why these debates and discussions are constantly held. Anyway, we have run completely out of time. PKD Nambiar, we have run out of time, so you'll have to excuse me, please. Many thanks to all three of you for joining us here on this discussion this evening. Let's move on now. In a shocking piece of news, former Tata Sons chairman Cyrus Mistry died in a car accident near Mumbai. The car hit a divider. He was travelling from Ahmedabad to Mumbai. There were 4 people in the car. 2, including Mistry, died on the spot. The other 2 have been moved to a hospital as per the Palghar police officials. The mortal remains of Cyrus Mistry and Jahangir Pandole will be brought to the JJ hospital in Mumbai, and the autopsy will be carried out there. All right, let me go across now to our guest who's joining us on the show, Sanjeev Bajaj, President CII. Many thanks for speaking with us, sir. I'm sure most of you are still in shock at this untimely demise of Cyrus Mistry. But today, what would you say he would be best remembered for?
You know, let me start by saying that Cyrus was a friend. My wife Shefali and he were in school together, so I've known him for many, many years. And it's indeed a shocking and a tragic day for his friends, naturally for his family, but also for Indian industry. Cyrus would clearly be known by people that knew him closely as a very good friend, as somebody who was always a strong support, as a very gentle friend, as many people have already said, but also as someone who spoke plainly and who did what needed to be done. But again, I can't believe that we are here talking about this today.
Yes, absolutely. Untimely, tragic demise there of Cyrus Mistry. You know, he came into the spotlight as he took over Tata Sons, but the exit was unceremonious, and then the legal battles further soured the relationship with the Tatas. Does being a young leader have both its advantages and disadvantages? And in some sense, have we hyped young leadership?
You know, today is not the time to get into the first part of your question. I believe he did what he thought was right and what was appropriate for his role. So that was an issue that is best left for another time.
All right. But, you know, I want to understand from you the succession. You know, he was himself so young, 54 years old. Now, is it slightly easier in, you know, businesses that are run by families for a succession plan to be put in place? Or the sudden tragedies like this can shake even businesses of this nature?
It really depends on what your family has discussed, and while he was very young, but it's not that he was in his 20s or 30s, and hopefully as a family, there are many other family members there, including his brother. So as a family, hopefully that they have sorted that out. And I'm sure at some point in the future, if something has to be further sorted out, they will do that. At this point of time, naturally the family and close friends are grieving.
To the business world, what did he bring on the table that was different from what others, probably his age or even younger, were doing?
He brought about a very high level of optimism and a belief in transformation, leading from the front. I know he used to work very hard. I remember once a few years ago, because we didn't meet that often. I live in Pune, he lives in Bombay. We are all traveling on our own. But whenever we met, we spoke very openly, and he was always very candid. He understood his challenges and what he needed to do for that. Even in the last few months, we were in touch because unfortunately, as both our fathers passed away, we were in touch with each other. So he was always somebody who was driven to create positive change. Positive change, I believe, for the country and then for his business.
He was fairly young when he took over as director in his company as well, the SP Group. How did you see his growth over the years, that he was not just with his own SP Group company, but later on with the Tata Sons as well?
So I must say that, as I said, I knew him over the years, but I can't claim to be amongst his closest friends because, as I said, we stay in different cities. But from what I saw of him from the distance, he had matured tremendously over the years, and his role with the Tata Group gave him that huge amount of breadth that, combined with his existing abilities to call a spade, to look at things in the eye and to think through in a fairly simple, straightforward manner for solutions, would have held him in good stead.
Sanjeev Bajaj, many thanks for speaking with us, even at a time when I understand completely how heartbroken all of you who knew Cyrus Mistry closely are.
Thank you.